This is Jackie, and I am here with Matt and Max of You, Me at 6 at DC's 930 Club. We're hanging out, guys. You guys have been together, going strong for 15 plus years. What do you attribute to your band's longevity?
I actually ask myself that question every day. No, well, we're still really close. We're like as good mates we were when we first started the band. We know how to treat each other. We know how to wind each other up. We know when to rein it in. It's a mixture of so many factors, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think for us as well as a band, there's no hierarchy. We're all equal, you know. I think we kind of split everything in musical terms. There's five of us. We split everything 20-20, or 20% each, you know.
2020, so only 40. Well,
Only
you mean
40,
me
yeah,
and you.
yeah, me and you, yes. So no, we split everything 20%, and like Matt said as well, I think our friendship and our bond as a group of people has grown stronger over the years. It's not kind of faded away, and we don't hate each other, so that's kind of important as well. So
That probably helps.
yeah, it really kind of does, you know, because you hear about bands that never hang out with each other or do anything like that. But I think people are surprised because we always hang out on tour together, and they're kind of like, well, we don't see many bands doing that. So I think that's the reason why we have a stronger unit and we've managed to survive for such a long time.
And last October, you released your latest album, 6. How was that an evolution since Take Off Your Colors?
Well, we like different music now. Back in the day when we were 16, 17, we only listened to like pop punk. Everything was very much guitar driven, and it was just like someone put a pop song on or R&B, and we'd be like, no, get Blink 182 back on. And now we're just a lot more open now. You know, we listen to every single genre of music, and I think you can hear that in our latest record. Like that's the main difference, isn't it? And just having free roam to just experiment and do what you want. And nowadays with Spotify and Apple Music, no one's got a favorite genre anymore. People are just fans of music. People can like pop music, rock music, metal, country, classic, and it's not weird. Like back in the day, you'd look at someone dressed a specific way and go, you like metal," and that you only like metal. But now you just can't tell, can you? Mm.
He's gotcha. He's gotcha. Well, then I'll ask you my next question. It feels like there were very purposeful changes made since Night People on 6. What do you have to say about that? Is it intentional, or is it, was it very deliberate?
A mixture, I think, really, to be honest with you. Some stuff just naturally happened over the writing process for 6 that, you know, we challenged ourselves, most importantly as songwriters and musicians, to try and do something a little bit different and outside the box. So I think our motto was really just rip up the rule book and not even look at it. So just try different things, and challenging ourselves is always important as musicians. You know, if we don't challenge ourselves, it kind of becomes a bit mundane, and you kind of get that across in the music, where as long as you're challenging yourself, trying to do new skills and new challenges, then you're going to put a lot more effort into it, which sounds kind of like weird, but it really does kind of shine through the music. And I think you can hear that across the record, that we pushed ourselves in different genres and different directions, and playing different instruments and bringing a lot more of an electronical backbone into the sound, which is important for this record. And then there was moments that we knew that we wanted to kind of go a little bit different and push ourselves. So it's kind of a mixture of the two, you know.
What do you think influenced the different sounds that you hear on the album?
Well, as I say, like we listen to so many different genres of music now, so that has like a massive different play in it. I don't know, I guess like life experiences, like we've gone through a lot more in our lives now than we had when we were 16, 17. Like we're actually like adults. I'm like 30 next month, first man 30, feeling a bit old. So I think that helps as well, you know, growing up. And growing up like on the road as well, I feel like changes you as a human being as well. Like some of my friends at home are still like growing up in certain ways, but I feel like the road has like made us.
I also think we just better our instruments as well. You know, when you were saying, I think in an earlier question, what's the difference between this record and your first record? Well, we've had 10, 15 years of experience playing our instruments now, and we kind of know what we're doing with it. When back in the day, it was like, oh, let's just copy our idols and the sounds that they were making. But now I think we have our own kind of sound. We're not trying to jump on any bandwagon. It's just what we make musically is what feels right to us, and we want to showcase that and not be afraid to kind of push ourselves in new directions.
And you mentioned earlier, like kind of genre hopping with with streaming and things like that. With new music out, what role does music streaming have? Is it something that you focus a lot of attention on, or is it something that's kind of secondary to album sales?
I think like streaming is probably the most important thing now, like over album sales, and it's a good thing and a bad thing because you can get your music out on so many platforms and people can listen to it by saying, "Hey Siri, play the latest song." Like it's crazy instead of having to go to a shop and buy music, but it sort of devalued the whole music thing a little bit, like how Netflix has almost devalued like going to the movies and stuff. You know, I mean, everything's getting more digital, but it's good that there's more stuff. It can sometimes be a bit oversaturated, I think, because there's so many bands. But then again, it's good that there's so many bands because you don't have to just have one favorite band. You can find a new favorite band every week, literally, can't you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of opened the doorway for if you want to be a musician, you don't need to have a record deal, which I think is quite important because it's art is a way to express yourself, and you don't need to have loads of money chucked at you to make records now these days, which is good. But then I also think a lot of people do pay attention to it in terms of stats, and I think sometimes you kind of forget the art like of making music. Kind of you start looking at numbers instead of being creative, and I think that's kind of a dangerous position in the world that we're at. Going, oh well, this is our most streamed songs. We need to write 7 more songs like that. Well, no, just you weren't looking at numbers when you were writing that song. So I think that's also got to be remembered in creating music now these days.
I think that's a really good point. Yeah. So which would you rather have then? Music streaming success or radio airplay or something in between?
I think I was going to say something in between. I think as long as we're happy making the music we're creating, and there's people out there that are enjoying it, I think that's the most important thing.
So what does success look like in 2019 when album sales, especially tangible album sales, are not what they used to be when you guys got started?
Well, but not as rich as we used to be. No. I don't know really. What do you think?
I think it's kind of catch-22 kind of question on that, to be honest with you, because success in many people's opinions is very different. It could be oh, you want to be rich and famous, but that's why we didn't start making music at the end of the day. We did it because it was a way of expressing yourself. So as long as I still get to make music and express myself in different ways, depending on how big or small you are as an artist, that's all that matters to me in terms of success.
So it's 6 albums in. How do you go about choosing your set list now?
Yeah, actually, streaming does come into play with that. Actually, that's handy because you go, okay, let's look at our Spotify things in America. These are our top stream songs, are they? Well, we're going to put them in the set list. So that works, and then we just pick what songs we want to play. There's some of the new records that mean a lot to us as well. Like we got a song called Predictable, and we just really wanted to play that song, so we put that in for us. And then there's some songs we also haven't put in for us because we don't want to play them. And we just sort of decide, but we don't like only play stuff we want. There's always stuff for the fans. There's some songs that we're just like, oh, this one again, played it 6,000 times, but we're gonna play it again. Yeah.
We definitely have that moment when we're in the practice studio and we talk about what we're gonna play. It's always back and forth. Like you're always like, oh, let's play this song, but I don't think we should play that song. It's just like there's a fine balance of choosing songs. So I think for us now with 6 albums in, I think for us we kind of choose the singles and then we pick some oddballs around it.
So what's up for the rest of 2019? I feel like this year has only gotten started, but it just seems like it's been going on for a really long time. So it's like, what's next? I think that's sort of a musical thing, is like you always got to worry about the next things. But what does the rest of this year look like for you guys?
Well, we got some cool stuff coming up. We're going to Australia with our mates in Bring Me the Horizon. We're doing some shows out there with them.
Festival season all over the summer through Europe and UK. There's also new music from our side as well. Not sure when it will be coming out, but there is music in the bank already. So I think for us it's like kind of keeping with what we were saying with 2019 and where the world's at, is consuming music, and how fast people can put music out now is very important. So for us, I think we're only looking forward to releasing new music and just kind of tour.
Well, stay tuned for much more from You Me at 6. This is Jackie, thanks to Chorus FM and In the Key of Change.